Welcome to the last rant of 2020. Of course, I am your host, Brick Johnson, and since the Cartoon Network rant hasn't gone that bad, at least it's gone fairly well for the most part, it's got more likes than dislikes, I thought, why not do a Nickelodeon rant? Especially since this rant's about Nickelodeon going over many shows based off of internet memes or internet videos or internet personalities. And personally, I think I've had enough of that. So with me today is going to be my friend from my last rant. In fact, his channel will be in the description. In fact, I'm going to call my friend Casey and we're going to collab together in this rant. Put on speaker. Hello? I was just about to start the rant. In fact, I've already started this video and made an introduction. Of course, remember, in this rant, we're going to be going over the new Nickelodeon shows. That basically is just a show based off of an internet video or an internet phenomenon. And why Nickelodeon just needs to stop it. It's really unoriginal. Yeah. Okay. We're going to begin here. Now, Nickelodeon used to be a really great channel. They had a lot of great shows. They're mostly original, and they all were original game shows. And some of them were based on pop culture, and they also had good shows that were sitcoms, cartoons, and game shows as well. A lot of them were really good shows, and all those good shows made Nickelodeon what it was. But then a decade later, some of their newer shows have started to just capitalize on internet trends, and that's where we started to go downhill from here.
Do you feel like Nickelodeon is dead to you now?
Nickelodeon for sure is dying. I'll tell you why first. Nickelodeon has started to do shows in the last couple of years that are basically just shows about internet personalities or based off internet personalities or internet videos. In fact, let's go over the history of them. There was first the Fred Show, which was based off when Fred was on the show iCarly, and then he later would have his own movies. Like, there were 3 movies and the Fred Show. That was taken straight off the internet. There's also Awesomeness TV, which is a show about videos, and it also has YouTube people on there as well, like some YouTubers as well on that show. Breadwinners, the cartoon, had a pilot online. They also had a game show called Webheads, where they solve internet videos or something around the lines of that. That's what that show's about. And there's also React to That, which was the Fine Brothers React series, but it was a TV show. And on a lot of those shows, I'm just thinking, why can't we just watch them online? Why do they need to be on TV? And other than that, there's also Ryan's Mystery Playdate, which is based off the little kid, Ryan Toys Review, that's on Nick Jr. And now we got the Baby Sharks show, Baby Shark's Big Show. I mean, these are all unoriginal ideas, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Like, do you think Nickelodeon needs to die?
Yeah, I would say Nickelodeon needs to approve, but I mean, how could they be able to when all they're doing is just giving unoriginal ideas? Like, let's just take Baby Shark's Big Show, for example. I'm sure most of you remember that viewed video of that song, but they decided to partner with the company that made that song, and they decided to make a show where they also have a theme of that song, but make it kind of like a Nick Jr. show. I'm like, really? Like, that doesn't sound that original, especially since it sounds like a parody show that someone would do on the internet. Of all channels to air this show, I would least expect it from a channel like Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't air it on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Cartoon Network at least has learned. Like, remember that Fred show that I mentioned earlier that they took right off the internet? That show failed. And with Fred the show, like Fred getting Fred Figglehorn, you know, the character, Fred getting a TV show. The Cartoon Network did the same thing with the high fructose adventures of the Annoying Orange, in which that didn't last too long. It only lasted 2 years. And it didn't make sense because that show wasn't really much of a cartoon other than the title cards. And luckily, after 2 years, once Cartoon Network got a new staff, mostly a new staff, Cartoon Network stopped airing High Fructose Adventures of the Annoying Orange, and they don't have any other show that's based off of a internet celebrity or an internet character or whatever. But Nickelodeon hasn't learned one bit.
All of this madness must end, and it will only truly end once that studio lies in ashes and destroyed.
Okay, let's not go off topic. How about you, what's your opinion on the Baby Shark's Big Show? What is your opinion on these new shows that they're airing, like Ryan's Mystery Playdate and such?
Haven't they learned anything?
Yeah, like that Fred show and other shows with a character such as Marvin, they haven't got that successful at all. And they managed to get canceled after like 1 season. But for some reason, these new shows are successful because they're apparently popular towards kids. I'm like, why would they make shows off of some YouTube personality at least? Like this kid, you know, Ryan, he mainly has a big channel. I don't see why he has to have a Nick Jr. show, especially since I think he's like a little old for that show now. Like the kid's like 9 years old and he still has that Nick Jr. show. And Nickelodeon still renews it for some seasons, apparently. Like, what the fuck, Nickelodeon? I mean, we're not, listen, okay, we're not here to bash on anybody. We're just mainly just giving our honest opinions. And we're not hating on the main kid or anybody that's part of it. We just think that Nickelodeon should just be more original. Like, they need to try something different instead. And I just don't think them doing this, like just doing TV shows based off of stuff from the internet. Like, basically what they're doing is that they're just taking anything that's popular on the internet with kids or whatever else, and they just plaster it on TV. Like, that's just lazy. Like, what's the marketing? What's the potential behind this? Like, what are they even thinking when they're making these kinds of shows, you know?
Like, what were they thinking?
Exactly. Like, Nickelodeon it just feels like they just thought of this as, if this goes successful on the internet, we should put it on our channel. Maybe more people would watch our channel then. I mean, we can watch a lot of this kind of stuff on the internet, and Nickelodeon really shouldn't have to, you know, capitalize on internet fame and whatever is famous on the internet to make money. Because, you know, you can do other things to make money. You should listen to your fans or your audience to make money. Now, sure, Nickelodeon may be for kids, but there's also some people that they feature on Awesomeness TV like Smosh, and they're not even for kids. Same with Fred sometimes. Sometimes Fred, he's not really that much for kids, and yet he gets a show and movies on Nickelodeon? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, can you imagine if they made Annoying Orange the movie?
I would not want to go there. Let's just be grateful that those movies did not exist. Now, the Fred movie, that movie, who's gonna watch an hour of Fred just literally being annoying and just going on an adventure? Because Fred is really annoying enough in a video. Same with the Annoying Orange. Now, they work as short videos online, but an entire movie or TV show? No, I don't think they work at all as a TV show, at least, or a movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nickelodeon, well, this is only the main part we're going over. This is just the only problems we have with Nickelodeon. One thing I can probably add to this is, you've seen my video where I've talked about the Patrick Star Show. I don't know where they're going with that, but they keep making spin-offs of shows like SpongeBob and of stuff like Camp Coral and stuff they originally aired on Nickelodeon. They just move it to streaming services like CBS All Access, and they do the same thing with their old show specials. Like, they just move it to Netflix. I'm like, doesn't Nickelodeon understand not everybody is able to see this kind of stuff? They're not going to access stuff like Netflix or CBS All Access. So
well, to be honest, the Camp Coral idea, it doesn't feel right up our alley anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. What if someone was looking forward to something like Camp Coral? Think about it. What if someone was looking forward to Camp Coral and wanted to know when it's going to air on Nick, but then they realize it's going to be on CBS All Access. So then they're going to ask their parents to pay for CBS All Access to buy it when they already paid for cable, so they should be able to watch it anyway. Like, that's just going to be, you know, disappointing to people who want to see those shows, right? Like Nickelodeon, if you want to get these specials and stuff to be more successful, stop moving them to Netflix, okay? Why not just advertise your shows? Like, if you can't be able to show more because you're not getting good ratings on a movie, then you're doing something wrong, Nickelodeon. You guys need to advertise your stuff more often, get the kids interested in this kind of stuff, and air it on your main channel. Don't move it to Netflix or CBS All Access, because it'll be harder for some people to access those shows unless, you know, their parents pay for it.
I feel like the Loud House, it doesn't deserve to be on Nickelodeon.
What? Some say SpongeBob should have been on Cartoon Network. They say that SpongeBob's going to end in like 8 years. I don't know. I'm thinking those are just rumors I'm hearing. I think it's just speculation. I mean, I highly doubt it's going to be true.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, some people have said years ago that SpongeBob was going to end in a few years, and they told that to Nickelodeon, and they confirmed it's a hoax. So this kind of stuff is nothing new. It's more than likely going to be a hoax. So just back on topic real quick. Yeah, so do you think that Nickelodeon should just advertise their specials, you know, based on old shows, such as Invader Zim, Enter the Fort? Like, they promoted it on their YouTube channel, but they didn't promote it on their TV network, and they didn't even air it at all, and because of they didn't advertise Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, that much, they just simply aired it on Netflix. I'm like, they never even said it was going to be a Netflix exclusive. They just advertised it and they said it was coming soon. And then when we found out, it was just on Netflix. It's like, what the hell?
Nickelodeon, you need to break up with Netflix.
Yeah, like, why not air your specials and promote them on your main channel? Is that too much to ask for?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why Nickelodeon just uses Unoriginal Ideas and does nothing to promote shows, and they just move shows. Sometimes they move shows to Sundays or whatever and just kill them off completely. Like for example, Harvey Beaks. Like, I'll link a video where they talk about that show, but it aired for a while, but they did good on new episodes, but sometimes they hardly aired reruns of the shows, and then they moved it to Nicktoons, and Nicktoons is not a channel like basic cable. It's harder to access, and they get lower ratings. It's like Nickelodeon needs to realize that when they move it to something to get low ratings, they should know they're doing something wrong. It's like, maybe we should move it back to our main channel or promote it more often. Because we should start airing reruns on our main channel and start airing new episodes, and maybe we might get more ratings. But no, it just can't get into Nickelodeon's heads. Like, that's fucked up. I mean, that's just really fucked up. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
And speaking of which, I don't know about this, but since these specials I'm talking about earlier are Netflix exclusives, they're more than likely not going to be on CBS All Access, because it's probably some contract or whatever that they have. So I'll just end that part there, and yeah, like, tell us in the comments what you think of that Netflix like deal. Personally, I just don't think it's working that good. I mean, other than unless the majority of the Nickelodeon watchers or their parents who are in the Nickelodeon audience are subscribing to Netflix, they're not going to be able to watch it at all, and it's pretty hard. Like, it's going to be hard for some kids.
Wait, hard for some kids to what?
To watch those specials, you know, because some people wouldn't know it's on Netflix unless they did some research about it.
I know.
All right. Well, other than that, what I want to give to Nickelodeon is just stop airing shows that are unoriginal at best. And stop airing shows that just take a format or a series from the internet or is based off a celebrity from the internet. That stuff is unoriginal, and we don't need any more of that shows. Nickelodeon, you just step your game up. You need to learn. Haven't you learned anything from shows, stuff like the Fred Show, and like other blocks and such you have, which I'll get to later, by the way, where they did internet references or internet trends, and a lot of that, some of that was hated and loathed, by the way.
What happened to the Nickelodeon we grew up to know and love?
I mean, it's slowly lurking in the shadows, but Nickelodeon is just down there. It's just down there, and it's trying to rise up. But there are some good shows that come out of this. Yeah. In fact, I've heard of this news show that some people say it's good. I might do a review of it. It's called Side Hustle. Yeah, it's basically some new show, if I could say without spoiling, that features their main two, faces that are from group chat, and it's like a new sitcom, but they say it's got the same style as shows like The Amanda Show and such. In fact, I've only checked a little bit of that out, but I might do a review of that soon. Have you heard of that new show, though, Side Hustle?
No, not until I looked it up when you mentioned it. Like, do you think Nickelodeon would improve by airing more SpongeBob?
Obviously, no. They air a lot of SpongeBob in the Loud House, but the schedule, yeah, we could probably talk about the schedule. Though they do air a variety when it comes to Nick Jr. stuff. Sometimes they air too much Paw Patrol. They also air a little too much SpongeBob in the Loud House, and they barely air other shows. But Nick at Night is not that much better. Like, they air a lot of like, they air some old sitcoms, but they air like too much of it, like a couple of hours of it, and they hardly air new shows. So I don't see much of a difference, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why most people complain about, at least we complain about Cartoon Network, is because Cartoon Network is more important, at least to most people. Some people are more glued to Cartoon Network, and we see more variety for channels like Cartoon Network than Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon is more than just one genre of shows. They're not just cartoons; they do live action or whatever else they air. Sometimes movies, so it's more of a variety of different genres on Nick than it does on Cartoon Network.
This is why I prefer Cartoon Network better than Nickelodeon.
But yeah, Cartoon Network is actually kind of trying. Sometimes they do air a little bit more shows. And if you compare their schedule, freaking Nickelodeon schedule makes Cartoon Network schedule look like a masterpiece.
Yeah, I think Cartoon Network is improving.
Yeah, so far they are. In fact, check out Boomerang. They just started to air a lot of the classic stuff on Boomerang. They air a lot of classic shows sometimes, and sometimes classic Cartoon Network shows at night. So that's pretty good. However, one problem I have with Nickelodeon, on the other hand, Nick Rewind on Teen Nick, they sometimes don't even air like a lot of shows on there. They usually just air Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life, Doug, and the Ren and Stimpy Show.
How can they screw up bringing back their old shows that put up to their glory days?
They only air 5 shows. Yeah, but like my friend said, how would they screw that up? I have no idea. I don't think they're even trying that much. Like, come on. Like, just airing 5 shows? And it's like that every night. They don't even air other shows. They barely air other TV shows on there. Other old shows.
Like, I thought Nick Splat would be, like, better.
It's now known as Nick Rewind. You mean Nick Rewind, yeah. Same thing, but still, they're supposed to air a lot of the classic stuff. Now, sometimes they do air on occasions, like more older shows. Like recently on Christmas, they've just only aired like they started to air others like Invader Zim. But other than that, they only aired once, and they don't even air those shows again. What the fuck?
Like,
that's bullshit. I mean, SpongeBob still airs today, so that's why they're not going to air it on Nick Rewind. And even if they do mark it as a 90s show, it's not like they're gonna consider that a 90s show because they air in 1999 or it aired in the early 2000s. Because those shows like that, that's the one show that still airs new episodes. But yeah, but in summary, Nickelodeon is just needs to do better. And one reason why I wanted to make this rant was, of course, they need to stop doing all those internet-related projects and just taking something from the internet and plastering it on TV. Because they just think what kids want is stuff from the internet and they want to see it on TV. It just doesn't make sense. So, what do you think? What do you think of all this internet stuff they're airing on Nickelodeon? What do you think Nickelodeon should do with it? Yeah, just cancel all those shows and leave it on YouTube or something. We don't need it on TV.
Haven't we already suffered enough?
Yeah, like just stop it. So yeah, that was about it for our Nickelodeon rant. Any final thoughts? Yeah, they just need to get their stuff together. Just get their shit together, and they just need to try and do better. I mean, it's only been 2 years since Nickelodeon's got a new president, and they just need to try and do better. Stop doing stuff like those SpongeBob spinoffs that we don't want of other characters, and stop doing live action stuff and reboots of TV shows. Like, I'm gonna probably do a rant on that Rugrats reboot soon, and yeah, I'll do that after the rant soon when that Rugrats reboot comes out. And I heard there's a live action movie, and we're just not gonna get into that now. But I just thought I'd bring that up. So yeah, that was it for the Nick rants. This has been Brick, and I'm out.